So Fortnite Chapter 2's out and the hype's back, and I thought I'd update this video from, I think it's over a year old now, and I'll try and make it a bit more simple this time, using the Chapter 2 skin, or Season 1, whatever you want to call it, this skin from the Battle Pass, and then some text, and then the image in the background, just go through all that, and then how to get this nice border around the edge. So without wasting any time, I'm going to start off with the new document. So if you go to File, New, or it might come up with this if you open Photoshop straight away, and then select 1920 by 1080. If you don't have a preset for it, you'll have to enter these details into these boxes. So 1920 width, 1080 height, 72 resolution, 8-bit, all of this doesn't matter, you can set that to whatever the default is, and then hit create, and then this is what we're going to be working with. So first step, which is vital, is the picture in the front. So in the example's case, it's this blue sludgy character, whatever you want to call him, I don't know his name, and then the image in the background. There's loads of different ways you can get this. You can either go into replay mode and get them yourself, or there's various websites where you can get other people's from. The one I'd recommend is the Epic Games Community Asset Pack. This is just a pack that every season they update, so you can keep this link, and every season, so if you go into here, you go into outfits, and then you can go into this new in Chapter 2 Season 1, and then there you go, you have all the new Battle Pass skins as a PNG. So that just saves you like either rendering them out in a 3D program or pen tooling them out from replay mode or anything like that. You can just get them straight from here, straight as PNG. So the one I'm using is the Ripley.png. So you just click on it and then click up here, download, and it will download the image. So once it's downloaded, in the bottom bar here it should appear, and then you can just drag it into your canvas. If it doesn't do that, then you'll just have to go into your downloads and drag it from there, obviously. But this is where you want to get the position of the character right, and the size and everything like that. So I'm just going to make it bigger and drag it to here, to the left side. Hit enter to confirm it, and there you go. Next step is the image in the background. Now again, there's the same two ways. You can either go into replay mode and get it yourself. You can get it from other people, other packs, or in this Dropbox there is, if you go to here, and instead of clicking outfits, click POIs, and Chapter 2, obviously, because it's the new chapter, Season 1, and here you go. There's only 2, so I don't know if they're planning on updating it with more, but I only need this Slurpy Swamps one anyway, so I'm just going to use this one for now. But as I said, it's easy to get places in replay mode and stuff like that, so just hit download, wait for the download to finish, and there, drag it in, and just going to make it, I'm just going to press enter first, drag it behind the character, press Ctrl T and rescale it. So I want this character here and this glow here to be behind the character, because I don't want that to be seen. So I'm just going to make sure that's hidden, and then press enter again. So now that's done, we can start on matching all the colours up, and the first step for that is the background. So I'm going to go down to the bottom right here with this half-filled circle. This is the image adjustments, so if you click it, it's all the image adjustments are here, and the one we're using is gradient map. So if you click that, and it will bring up this properties box. What this does is, on the left side is the dark colours, on the right side is the light colours. So if you click any of these presets here, black to white, black is now the dark colours of the image, white is now the light colours of the image. So I'm going to click OK, make sure I'm selected on this circle here, this half-filled circle, go back into the gradient, and now I can colour pick from the character. So in the darks I can have a dark blue, maybe this sort of dark blue, hit OK, and then the lights I'm going to have sort of a lighter blue, maybe a bit more purpley, sort of like that, maybe a bit more blue. OK, and this is just down to personal preference, obviously, whatever you want to do. So I think that's looking good like that. Hit OK on everything. You can close this window, you don't need it anymore. So before and after, you can just see, just adds a colour wash to it, like that. Next step is emphasising the character here, and for that I'm going to make a new blank layer, click B on the keyboard to bring up the brush, or you can just select it here, and then colour pick the green from his arm or the head, just the brightest colour, and for that I'm holding Alt down on the keyboard. So if you're in the brush tool and hold Alt, you can colour pick, and then you can add a brush, colour pick from somewhere else, add a brush, something like that. So I'm just going to pick this green, and then in this colour window here, or if it's not there, just click this colour here and you can edit it here. Just going to alter it a little bit so it's more green and brighter. Hit OK, and on this blank layer, just going to make the brush about the size of him and click over a few times, make it smaller for the head. Just add a subtle glow to him like that. Then going to add a new layer above that, new blank layer, and I'm going to click this little tiny black and white icon to make the colours black and white. Invert them, so now I have a white brush, and I'm going to make this smaller but a harsher glow over the top like this. Just go around the edges a bit more finely. So this is just being a bit more precise, like that. And then I'm going to change the blending mode to overlay, and the blending mode is here, this rectangle here. So if you click normal and change it to overlay, you can just see it sort of, it's not as perfect white, it just makes it a brighter colour of the green underneath it. And then one more layer, I'm going to click the gradient map layer, add a new blank layer. Said layer a bit too many times, but yeah, I'm going to make the green again, just make it brighter, more green, make it really big, click once over him and lower the opacity, just so it's more of a subtle ambient light over him. So you can see before and after, it just does a bit of a bigger difference. Next step is the text, so I'm going to click the layer of him and press the T on the keyboard, or this T here, and then if you click on the canvas you can start writing your text. So I'm just going to put I don't know, first. This is what I did last time. And you can also double click the text, click this A button here, or if that's not there, go to window and then character, and that will bring up this, and then you can click these two capital T's here and it will just make it into all caps, as you can see, like that. And the font you want to be using is called Burbank Big Condensed, so that's the font that Fortnite use. It does cost money, but there's probably ways you can get it for free. Don't ask me about that, but I'm just saying, you know, there's probably ways you can get it for free. So I'm going to put first in a white colour and move that over to here. Then I'm going to hold Alt and drag text down just to keep all the same settings. Press T again and double click to edit the text, and I'm going to type win, and then press the move tool here to confirm the selection. Press Ctrl T to bring up this transform box, and then just make it bigger. And I'm holding shift to keep the aspect ratio. If I let go of shift, it will go warpy, so if you hold shift it will just keep it the same, and I'm holding Alt to scale it by the center. So if I let go of Alt now, it will scale from the other corner, and then Alt now, yeah. So I'm just going to make it take up the same room as the top text. Hit enter, hit T again, double click into it and change this white color here, so click on it and just color pick the sort of bright green and adjust it here, and then hit OK. So now I can just click anywhere off the screen, this move tool here, or any of these layers, just clicks it and confirms the color. Then I'm going to use the move tool and move the win text down a little bit, and there you go. Then you can select the win layer and the first layer by holding Control and clicking, pressing Control T, and it will highlight both of them, and you can edit both of them as one. So I'm just going to put the position sort of there, something like that. And then I'm going to make a layer style on the win text, and all you need to do is make one layer style on the win text and then copy it over to the first text. So for that I'm going to double click this right side blank, the blank bit of the layer, and then I'm going to go to drop shadow, set it to normal, make it a dark colour of the background, so like a dark blue, hit OK, set the spread all the way up and the size all the way down to about 20 or so should do, and then the distance I'm just going to set to about 20 as well, or just less than 20, so there's a bit of a border at the top. And make sure the angle's at 90 if you want this sort of look. If you change the angle, it will just change the angle of the drop shadow. Pretty simple. So the angle's at 90, so now the further the distance is, the more downwards it goes. So I'm just going to hit that about there. 16 and 24, and the spread is at 100. And then on the gradient overlay box here, I'm just going to tick that and go into it. And it's already set, but if I make it default, so this is what a default one would look like. So if you change the blend mode to multiply and change the gradient, you just click in the gradient here and you can edit it yourself. So make it black and white and drag this up to where the location says 50 here, so drag it to the middle there, and then the same with the white one. But you don't want them to cross over, you want the white to be on the right and the black to be on the left. So there, it's perfect. Hit OK and lower the opacity to about there. Last layer style is bevel and emboss, so I'm going to tick that and click into it, and the highlight mode is going to be on normal, opacity 100%, shadow mode is just on 0%, you don't want any shadows, and then the size is going to be about 3. So if you put the size up, you'll see it adds like a bevel to the top of the layer. So I'm just going to put that to about 5, should be good, and then hit OK. So now you have this layer style. You can go ahead and copy all of this onto the other text by holding Alt, dragging over this effects text and dragging down over the first text, like so, and it will copy all of the effects and you don't have to do anything after that. Now there's some more effects on it. I'm going to click the wind text, the wind layer, sorry, hold Control and click the first layer, press Control T and just rescale it like that. And you'll see when you move it in transform mode, the gradient doesn't move with the text, but if I go here for example and press enter, it will readjust, so you don't have to worry about that. So there, looks a bit better now, just made it a bit smaller so it's not as distracting, because you want also this to be eye-catching as well. Okay, so the last step other than colour correction is the border and the lines coming across. For that I'm going to make a new layer and set the colour here to white, so click this black and white icon and click the invert. So now the white is out of the foreground, and I'm going to use the polygon lasso tool. So if you press L, it will bring up this lasso tool here, which is, if you draw, it will make a selection like that, which you can then paint inside with the brush tool, like that. If you hold down this tool and go to polygonal lasso tool, it will just mean that instead of dragging, you just click each point, like that. So that's how you get them sharp corners and sharp sort of lines. It's just with this tool here. So I'm going to start with the border, start in this corner here, and just sort of drag a sort of border shape. Every now and then sort of do a little indent like that. This is another thing which is preference. You can either make it really big and sort of bulky, or you can make it really thin like I'm doing, just so it stands out a little bit. And then once you get to the top here, you just want to highlight over the original point until this circle comes up on the tool, and then that just means that it's an entire selection. Now if you paint inside it, it's going to go onto the inside of it, which means if you fill it up, then everything's going to be white other than the border, which obviously that doesn't work. So if you just go back and if you press Control Shift I, or if you don't like shortcuts, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, go to Select and Inverse here. That's all that does. And now it will paint the outside instead of the inside. So again, press B with your brush and make it white, and make sure you're selected on the blank layer and just paint over your selection like that. Then if you press Control D to deselect, or again without the shortcut, if you just go to Select and deselect here. So now you've got a border, but it's going over the character, which just doesn't look good, so you're just going to drag it underneath the character layer here, and there you go. Then last step before the colour correction is add a new blank layer above this border, and with the same tool, so press L and it will go straight to the polygon tool now, and then make your selection like so, and then with a brush just press B and paint it in. I'm just going to quickly make the first wind text smaller by clicking, holding Control, clicking the other one, Control T, and just make it a bit smaller and move it up a bit, just so there's a bit of room down at the bottom here for another sharp line, so something like that, just to bring more attention to the character. And if you don't like a line, you can just press Control Z to go back, Control Z and start again. So press L, click, make a line, and press B and paint inside it, and then press Control D to deselect. So that's pretty much all of the assets of the thumbnail done. You can use this, it will still work. I'm just going to do some corrections to the colours, and I'm going to use another image adjustment, so that's this half filled circle here, and going to click colour balance. Going to change this from midtones to shadows and put the blues up a little bit, just so that means you'll see if I do before and after, I'll put the magentas up a tad and the cyans up a tad as well, and then in the highlights just going to put the greens up slightly and the cyans a bit up and the blues a bit up. Now if I close this, and you'll see before and after, just gives it a nice blue tone, just matches the colours up a bit better and makes it sort of a colder tone. And there you go, pretty simple thumbnail to do, but it works really well. You got your Fortnite text, you got your Fortnite looking border lines, season, what is it now, season 1 now, isn't it? So season 1 skin, and yeah, works really well. And that's all you need to do really. So if you have any questions, let me know. If I went too quick, I tried to go a bit more simple this time. So if you have any questions, let me know. If If you want to see anything else, let me know. I'll leave the PSD to this as available for free, obviously, as well as the link to the Dropbox with all the PNG images. That's it. Thanks for watching, and peace.